So, no vinyl today, but what we will be checking out are some of my promotional and radio-only CDs of the metal variety. So whether it's singles or compilations or samplers or EPs, there's bound to be something here that you haven't seen before. And that's a good enough reason to stick around and, maybe see what I got. So as some might know, I did a bit of college radio back in the 90s, notably from 1990 to 1992 as metal director for my college's station. And actually, not just metal director, but also music director, programming director, assistant general manager, and DJ to 3 shows. I won't bore you with the business stuff, but the fun part of my time there was getting so many promo discs from really cool labels. And a lot of the ones I'm showing today weren't even available in stores, and the rest were definitely not the commercial versions in particular that you might be used to. So I'm hoping you get to see at least a few you've never run into before. Anyways, the majority of the 16 discs I'm going to show are specifically from thrash metal bands, with only 3 outside of that subgenre. And none of these are full-length studio albums, which would be interesting to show anyways. Also, stick around after because I'll be showing discs that are either promo or metal, which kind of sort of fits into the theme here. Anyways, let's check out some promo CDs. Starting with a single from Sepultura's 4th studio album, this is the title track to Arise, with both the single and the album released in 1991 by RC Records. So this is the first single from the album, with the others being Dead Embryonic Cells and Under Siege Regnum Irae. Also 2 live tracks are here, both Inner Self and Troops of Doom. At the time they were previously unavailable, but did end up later that year on the Under Siege Live in Barcelona home video, which had a live show from the band, recorded in Barcelona, Spain on May 31st, 1991. Killer live show with some amazing production sound and a videotape I still have in my collection, believe it or not. Speaking of live, this is the second most played song of theirs in concert at over 1,100 performances, right behind Refuse Resist. Also, the track has been covered by The Crown, Calma, Havoc, and Aborted. And fun fact, Arise is Max Cavalera's favorite Sepultura song. And if the single seems slightly familiar, there was a commercial version of it released, but with a different cover. So this is Sepultura with Arise. Next up is a single from Metal Church's 4th studio album, The Human Factor. This is In Harm's Way, released in 1991 by Epic Records. So the CD single has both the album version as well as the radio edit, the latter which shaving off about 2.5 minutes. I actually dig both versions, but the original is 7 minutes long, so some might prefer a shortened version. There's also a track here credited as Metal Church B-side number 3, which is really a live version of Start the Fire, previously unreleased. It's a decent recording of a classic track with Howe on vocals, and also really nice to hear back in 1991 when live material from the band wasn't exactly easy to get. The Human Factor album actually had 4 singles released, this one as well as Date with Poverty, The Human Factor, and In Mourning, all from 1991 as well. In Harm's Way wasn't a live favorite as the band played it only 13 times and only on this album's tour. I also took a spin over to eBay and it looks like the going price for this single is about $30 US. A little steep, but not too bad. So this is Metal Church with In Harm's Way. Also, rest in peace, Mike Howe. Next is a single from Anthrax's compilation album, Attack of the Killer Bees. This is Bring the Noise, released in 1991 by Island Records. So as many know, Bring the Noise is a cover song of sorts, originally done by Public Enemy. However, this version also has members of Public Enemy guesting on it, including Chuck D and Flavor Flav. And although I'm no rap fan of any sort, this is actually not too bad and miles better than any other Anthrax attempt at rap and metal crossover. I'm looking at you, I'm the man. Also on this single is a cover tune, again of sorts, of the SOD track Milk, now called Milk Ode to Billy, but with Joey on vocals. It's decent, but simply doesn't touch the original with Milano and Lilker. Bring the Noise was played over 350 times live, and if you're looking for it on eBay, it's only about $10 to $20 US on average. Truthfully, the single did pretty well for the band back in the early 1990s and pushed the compilation to gold status in the US and Canada, so this is likely still a popular collector choice for fans of the band. Another version of the single was available commercially in the UK with a different cover and slightly different track listing, in case this looks a little different to you. Anyways, this is Anthrax with Bring the Noise. Next up is an EP from Anthrax entitled Freebies, released as a promo-only disc in 1991 by Island Records. So the disc has 2 live tracks to start, both Belly of the Beast and Madhouse, Recorded at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham, England on December 14th and 15th of 1990. Belly of the Beast Live was available on Attack of the Killer Bees, in case you were wondering. After that is a studio version of Hatred from their then current album, Persistence of Time. Also some fun text here in the insert, which you can pause and read for yourself. Anyways, this is Anthrax with Freebies. Next is a single from Anthrax's sixth studio album, Sound of White Noise. This is Only, released in 1993 by Elektra Records. So 2 versions of the title song here, the edited version and the album version. The edit is 40 seconds shorter, basically the pre-solo segment gets cut. This is also the first single from the album, followed by Room for One More, Black Lodge, and High Pro Glow. Only is also the 12th most played song live for the band with over 400 performances, and actually charted 26 in the US, 36 in the UK. And although this is a promotional version of the single, it was otherwise available on CD, cassette, and 7-inch vinyl, and sometimes with different track listings. And eBay has this promo version currently going for anywhere between $10 and $25 US. Anyways, a solid track from the Bush era of the band, and although I'm not a fan of his time in Anthrax in general, I do dig the album this song comes from. Just wish the next few albums could have been as good. Anyways, this is Anthrax with Only. Next up is a single from Believer's second studio album, Sanity Obscure. This is Stop the Madness, released in 1991 by RC Records. So this promo-only CD starts with an anti-drug PSA, literally called Anti-Drug PSA, which consists of a produced spot with Believer vocalist Kurt Bachman warning kids of the dangers of illicit substances. I remember putting this on cart for the DJs, and a lot of them played it on their shows, so that was kind of fun. After that, we get Stop the Madness, as well as the U2 cover Like a Song, both from Sanity Obscure. Not a fan of the cover, but the single's title track is pretty damn good. They're a really decent proggish thrash band, though also Christian, which, to be honest, you'd hardly even notice if you were listening to this. Good aggressive thrash with a technical edge for sure. And if you're looking for this on eBay, it goes for about $30 US. Anyways, this is Believer with Stop the Madness. Next is a sampler disc from Wrathchild America entitled 3 Songs from 3D, released in 1991 by Atlantic Records. So as the title suggests, this CD is a sample of tracks from their second and likely final album, 3D. Here we get the edited version of Surrounded by Idiots, which was likely what they used for the music video as well. Only 50 seconds were chopped from the original, it seems. The song is followed by the album versions of Desert Grins and Drain Time. It's a good selection from the album, though maybe I would have traded out Drain Time for 3D Man, much heavier track. And of course, since it's the time period, it's Atlantic Records and it's thrash, you can be assured that this was produced by Alex Perialis. Fairly clean mix as one might expect from Perialis this time. Overall, pretty good. And if interested, eBay has this one listed for anywhere between $6 and $20 US. Also, if you've never heard of the band, Wrathchild America was decent technical thrash with some prog leadings, but also a bit goofy at times and totally fun at others. Maybe an acquired taste for some, but I dug them. Crazy how this band just kind of came and went, though. I really think they would do well in a more modern tech thrash climate, but perhaps that's simply not to be. Anyways, this is Wrathchild America with 3 songs from 3D. Next up is a single from Megadeth's 5th studio album, Countdown to Extinction. This is Skin of My Teeth, released in 1992 by Capitol Records. So this is a promotional single for just the song, though there are commercial versions with additional tracks. The single is also autographed by the band, which didn't happen with all copies. The label actually sent this to me signed, which is nice. This is also the 4th single from Countdown, preceded by Symphony of Destruction, Foreclosure of a Dream, and Sweating Bullets, in that order. Nice to hear this original mix of the song, you know, before Dave had a bunch of classic Megadeth totally remixed and subsequently neutered back in the 2000s. So this is more of a collector's item, given that it's autographed and because the commercial versions do have more tracks. Despite that, I'm definitely hanging on to this one. Anyways, this is Megadeth with Skin of My Teeth. Next is a promotional compilation from Megadeth entitled Maximum Megadeth, released in 1991 by Capitol Records. So this 8-song disc covers the time span between Peace Cells and Rust in Peace, including 6 studio and 2 live tracks. The live songs are Hangar 18 and Anarchy in the UK, both of which recorded at Wembley Stadium in London, England on October 14th, 1990. Live tracks sound pretty good, and Dave's voice is as good as it's gonna get because, let's be honest, he's not exactly known as a particularly great vocalist. But you know what? He's fine here. Anyways, the overall track selection is mostly solid and an apt representation of the band's classic era. Though I might have bumped Lucretia for Tornado of Souls instead if picking stronger material from Rust in Peace and what is clearly a fan favorite. If looking for this disc, current eBay listings have it between $10 and $35 US. So this is Megadeth with Maximum Megadeth. Next up is a single from Dark Angel's fourth studio album, Time Does Not Heal. This is Act of Contrition, released in 1991 by Combat Records. So this is a promo-only single, and like many of the ones I'm talking about here, this was definitely sent to me while working in college radio. Pretty cool. And although not mentioned anywhere on the disc, this is clearly an edit, as the final minute of the album version is just missing and simply fades out early, omitting that really great crunching riff that otherwise takes the track out. Not sure why they did this, other than to unnecessarily chop a 6-minute song down to 5 minutes, which is still a bit long for radio anyways. Anyways, this is my favorite song on the album, furthermore my favorite Dark Angel album as well. And if you want to hear virtually everything about Time Does Not Heal, you should check out my favorite Dark Angel album video here at my channel. Anyways, this is Dark Angel with Act of Contrition. Next is a radio-only compilation from Overkill entitled Live Kill, released in 1990 by Megaforce Atlantic. So 2 live songs here. The first is their cover of the Black Sabbath song Hole in the Sky, followed by Evil Never Dies, which is an insanely great live version. I do remember being excited about getting this live material from the band back then, since we hadn't gotten any since their Fuck You EP in 1987, but in both cases, we were all preferring a full-length album from them, which we wouldn't get until 1995's Wrecking Your Neck Live. But, you know, at the time, it's what we got. Anyways, these 2 live tracks were later released commercially as part of their 1996 compilation, Fuck You and Then Some, if you're wanting to hear those. Also, I really love the blurb there. You can pause the screen and check that out. Anyways, this is Overkill with Live Kill. Next up is a single from Overkill's 6th studio album, I Hear Black. This is Spiritual Void, released in 1993 by Atlantic Records. So a clear nod to Black Sabbath in the single's title track, with a bit of that band's doom added to the proceedings. It also had a music video, if interested. This track is followed by the song Killogy, which is a great thrash tune, but only ended up a Japanese bonus track at the time, but maybe it appeared on some comp later on or somewhere else as a bonus track, I'm sure. You can tell me in the comments where exactly if you'd like. Sadly, the band doesn't drag this one out much in concert, having been performed a little over 40 times. Personally, I like to see that change. Anyways, this is Overkill with Spiritual Void. Next is a single from Danzig's 2nd studio album, Danzig 2 Lucifuge. This is Killer Wolf, released in 1990 by Deaf American Records. So, according to Glenn Danzig himself, this song is a version of an old blues song about a guy who wolfs around the door of every girl in town. Apparently, Glenn is well versed in wolfing, whatever the hell that is. Sure, why not? Anyways, this was one of 2 singles from Lucifuge. The other was Her Black Wings, though there were music videos for these songs, as well as ones for I'm the One and Devil's Plaything, so those last 2 got some promotion as well. Also, not a big live song, as he's only performed it a little over 60 times in his career. And also, I gotta say this is how you package a sleeve CD. Let me show you. Comes in this little almost gauze envelope, and then you get the disc there. I gotta say, in the 35 years I've had this, there isn't a single scratch on it. Little gauze pocket for your discs. Amazing. Anyways, this is Danzig with Killer Wolf. Next is a single from Annihilator's 2nd studio album. This is the title track to Never Neverland, with this single released in 1991 by Roadrunner Records, or Road Racer if you want to get fussy. I mean, really, it's the same goddamn label. Anyways, the single begins with, of course, the studio version of Never Neverland, followed by 2 live tracks, WTYD or Welcome to Your Death and Word Salad, both with then current singer Coburn Farr. This is the 2nd of 3 singles from this album, with the Fun Palace being first and Stonewall as the 3rd one. Regarding Never Neverland, the song, it's the 6th most played song the band has done live, having been performed over 200 times. Asking price for these days for this disc on eBay is about $25 US. Also, some really cool details here in the insert. You should probably take a pause on that and check that out when you got a chance. And take a quick look at the disc there. It's a disc, whatever. Anyways, this is Annihilator with Neverland, the single. Next up is a promo sampler from Judas Priest entitled Metalworks 7393 Sampler, released in 1993 by Columbia Records. So this is a 10-track sample from the commercially available 32-track compilation album called Metalworks 7393, obviously, which also came out in 1993, again, obviously. Really is the cream of the crop of Priest songs. In fact, the tracks are listed here in the insert for you. One interesting detail about the version of Exciter here is that the third chorus and the verse that immediately follows that chorus are somehow missing. So the track is about 30 seconds shorter. I mean, even its single from 1978 is album length version, so I'm not sure if some shaving off happened in other tracks, but this is the one I caught for sure. Also, Electric Eye is here, but not the Hellion, which precedes it on the album version. I mean, one without the other just feels wrong, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that. Comment if you agree. Anyways, this is Judas Priest with Metalworks 7393 Sampler. Next is the promotional version of Slayer's Seasons in the Abyss Blood Pact single, released in 1990 by Def American Records. And right away, we have to talk about the packaging here, obviously. Originally, this clear PVC sleeve was filled with fake blood, and if you look, you can see little plastic discs inside with skulls on them, which would float around in the fake blood. Of course, 35 years later, that's all dried up, but it was a great gimmick back in the early 1990s when it came out. You can see some more skulls right there for you. So here we get two versions of Seasons in the Abyss. The first one is the album version, and the second is a radio edit version. The latter which almost 40 seconds shorter, which seems to be coming from some chopping in the more atmospheric bookend segments. Anyways, as I mentioned before, this is the promo version, but there was also a commercial version in limited edition, which had the track Aggressive Perfector on it. This one does not. That commercial version also had an alternate mix of Seasons rather than the radio edit, if interested in hearing that. Also, this is the first of two singles from the album, the second of which is Spirit in Black, also released in 1990. Seasons of the Abyss was also the sixth most played song by the band in concert, with almost 1,400 performances over the decades. Anyways, this is Slayer with the Seasons in the Abyss Blood Pact promo single. So I also have about a half dozen other discs that are either metal but not promo, or promo but not metal, but definitely from the same time period, so let's go through those quickly. First off is Danzig with the Dirty Black Summer single. This is the Black Spine Digipack version from 1992. Also has Bodies and When Death Had No Name on it. Truth be known, I did buy this for that When Death Had No Name track because it was previously unavailable. If you remember the Danzig home video from a couple years before this, there was a live version underneath him talking that played out in the background, and I always wanted to hear a studio version. It's like a full-length version of it. So when this Dirty Black Summer single came out, had to grab it just for that one song. There's the insert there for you. Very cool. Danzig, Dirty Black Summer. Also got Guns N' Roses with You Could Be Mine. It's a single from 1991. It is also in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. There's the reverse there for you. Decent track. I had a bunch of these. Geffen sent a bunch of these to us when we were at the station. We meaning me. It also, like the Danzig disc, has the little gauze pocket so that the disc looks brand new. There you go there. And again, not a scratch on it. 35 years later, 34 years later. Sure, why not? Anyways, also Kiss with their Unholy single from 1992. The sticker reads, Special Radio EQ version, whatever the hell that means. It also has a number of other tracks in here. You can take a look at the insert there, including Creatures of the Night, War Machine, and I Still Love You. As you can see on the reverse there. Anyways, Kiss, Unholy. Also have LA Guns with the Holiday Foreplay Promo Sampler EP from 1991. It's got the studio version to Dirty Love, followed by live versions of Some Live for Love, Rip and Tear, and Sex Action. And ends with a track called Holiday Greetings, where Phil Lewis basically wishes everyone a Merry Christmas. This is obviously to be used on radio, and I did use it a few times in some shows. Passed it around to the other DJs. Pretty fun. So there's LA Guns, and the disc, of course, looks like that. There you go. It's cool. LA Guns. Holiday Foreplay, radio only. Also got Metallica with the Enter Sandman single. This is the UK single from 1991. This is commercially available, or was at the time. It also has Stone Cold Crazy, which is their cover of the Queen song, as well as a demo version to Enter Sandman. Very, very cool. Yeah. Vertigo Records, Enter Sandman, Metallica. And also, I've got Sepultura's Under Siege Regnum Irae single from 1991. Very cool. I bought this mostly for their cover of the Motorhead song Orgasmatron, but Troops of Doom is on here as well. I think it's the updated version of Troops of Doom, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool. There is an insert here with more stuff to read. Take a look at that. Pretty cool. So, Under Siege, Regnum Irae, or Irae. Always have trouble with that, by Sepultura. Of course, this is the part where I ask you if you've ever owned any of these promo discs. Maybe you instead have the commercial versions. Maybe you had them on vinyl, or maybe you have other promo discs that I didn't mention. You should definitely let me know that and anything else about promo discs in general in the comments below. And as for what I do at this channel, it's usually not videos on CDs, but rather vinyl, metal vinyl specifically, here at the Accusation Network, but also classic and modern metal in general. If you like the sound of that and you have not yet subscribed, it'd be really great if you did. Also, like this video, and share out some of my videos in general with your friends on social media. And of course, thank you for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next video.